What's up, guys? This is Frank. Today we're working on a 2007 Toyota Prius. So the problem we're having is the engine starts up, runs fine, and it drives good, but when you get to a stoplight and the engine shuts off, it shakes very hard. So I was thinking it may have been the spark plugs or the motor mount, something like that, but I replaced the spark plugs, replaced the ignition coils. It's still having the same problem. So I'm going to try one more thing before I get to the motor mounts, because on this car they're very difficult to replace. But we're replacing the crankshaft position sensor, because your crankshaft is very vital to the ignition of the car. That's just the trick to remember, is your crankshaft is for the ignition and your camshafts are for the sequence of the engine. So I'm going to show you how to replace that. First things first, you're going to jack up the car. Just a regular old floor jack. This white metal piece, not the plastic, but behind it there's metal. It has cuts in it specified for your jack. So you're going to jack up the car and take off the tire. You'll need a 21mm socket to get your lug nuts off, and then just remove the tire. So once the tire's off, this splash guard is in the way. It's a 10mm screw and a zip tie. So you're going to remove the screw and cut the zip tie. Just let that splash guard hang. And right under the crankshaft pulley is your sensor. Now mine's pretty much loose, but this connector will be on there. So you're going to remove this connector. All you're going to do is see that tab right there. You're going to take your thumbnail and pull it down. It's a little difficult, but see, you pull it down, then you can pull the connector away. Then it has a 10mm bolt. You're going to unscrew that, and then all that's left is the sensor itself. So you're just going to wiggle it loose and then pull it down, and here she goes. That's a pretty worn crankshaft sensor. The condition, the visual condition, is very hard to tell if it's bad or not. It's more the internals. So this is a new sensor. You're just going to make sure, go ahead and give it a comparison, make sure it's the correct length, part number, etc. So this is the proper sensor. So all you're going to have to do is put this one in. Just goes right in. And take your 10mm bolt, screw it back on, put your connector on, and put everything back together. It's a very simple process, but is one that's pretty overlooked. So anyways, that's on a 2007 Toyota Prius.